All right. Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, the 8th of March. It is our West Ham Week in Review on American Hammers TV. Part of the American Hammers Network includes all sorts of things, such as our fantastic AmericanHammers.net website, where you can get tons of merchandise, anything you want, really, with our logo on it, different show logos, supporters group logos, you name it. It's really kind of incredible. You can get a West Ham Week in Review framed plaque for your home if that's what you want. You can get all sorts of really good stuff. So check it out, including our famous scarves, which are still for sale. And I checked the PayPal account the other day, and we haven't sold any lately. So go buy a scarf. They're really nice looking. They're proper claret and blue. They look really good, and they are floating all over England now. In fact, somewhere in the world there is a signed Phil Parkes scarf that Tim accidentally gave away after he met Phil Parkes over there when he went to the matches, went to Liverpool, and I can't remember, was it Brighton, right? I don't know who it was. Anyway, when he was over there a few weeks ago, he saw Phil Parkes at the at X and Dave's event that they do. He had Phil Parkes sign his scarf, and then later that day, somebody asked him about the scarf, and he says, "Oh yeah, this is our network, so forth. Hey, just take the scarf." Well, he gave away the wrong scarf. He gave the Phil Parkes scarf. So anyway, somewhere in England, there's a Phil Parkes signed American Hammers TV scarf floating around. So anyway, check that stuff out. And if you want to be on the show, like Danny tonight, or like a couple of people we have coming on hopefully in a little bit, if you want to be on the show, let us know. Anywhere in the world, I don't care where you are. You can be from anywhere. If you want to be interviewed, if you want to take part, please let us know. Go to our website, go to AmericanHammers.net, or get us on social media, get us on Twitter, Facebook, even Instagram. Probably Twitter is the best way to do it because we're probably most likely to respond to that the quickest, but we get to all of them eventually. So anyway, so all that stuff out of the way. We've got Danny tonight from Charlotte, and but originally, of course, from East London, as you can tell from his proper accent when he starts talking. And then we're supposed to have a couple more people on, so hang out. I see like nobody watching right now anyway, so it may just be the two of us, Danny, talking on YouTube to each other. But yeah, we're supposed to have Liam on tonight from Fresno, and I think Joss from Kansas City. So there's Katie. Hey, Katie from Philly. We will wait for them to come on. Hopefully in the next 5-10 minutes. In the meantime, let's get started. How's it going, Danny? How you doing?
Doing well, Lee. Doing good.
We were just talking about before we started. We were just talking about how we had pretty good weekends, really. There's Ken. Pretty good weekends despite the result yesterday. So it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I will say this though. I don't know. Maybe we can start with you. I want to get your take on Liverpool. On Arsenal. Because I think if people didn't hate me after the Liverpool match, they're really going to hate me after this one. But what did you think about it? What was your take on how it went down on Saturday?
I think we played well. We knew going into it, Arsenal were going to have a lot of the ball. And I think if we took our chances, we could have won that game fairly easy. Arsenal didn't really force Fabianski into any saves. And Bowen hit the post. Antonio's terrible inside ball to Haller. And then Haller's bad touch when he's one-on-one with the goalie. And, we had our chances. I think there's a lot of positives to take from it. We're not a team that looks like we're going down. And I think it pisses me off the most that we've waited so long when we need it the most to show up as a team. I think it was welcoming to have Souček back, even though he only came on, last 15, 20 minutes. And, not going into lineups for next game, but I'd like it to see him get a little bit more run-out time next time around. I don't think we looked too bad yesterday. I really don't. I think there was a lot of positives to take from that. And I'm not too down on the team after that performance.
All right. I totally respect your opinion. I'm sure you're right. I think most people feel the way you do based on what I've read on Twitter and everywhere else. For me, it just wasn't good enough. And I feel as though every week somebody lets us down. Fabianski against Liverpool. At this time, Antonio and Allaire, who, Antonio missed a header that was a sitter. He and Allaire managed to balls up a tap in that my first graders could have pulled off. Again, I realized we created a lot of chances. We had a lot of shots on goal. Didn't have a lot of possession, but that's normal. But Arsenal had won 8 games coming into this game, and we had won 7. Now, they had a lot of draws. That's why they're so far ahead of us in the table. But they're a mid-table, mediocre club. Nothing special in defense. Nothing super threatening in attack. A mid-table, like at the time, I think 10th place, mediocre club. And to me, when we go down, and I'm starting to be convinced that we will go down. When we go down, it'll be because we couldn't win games like this that we should have won. That we were good enough to win, except that somebody or one or two players didn't make the effort or didn't make the clutch play in the moment when it had to be made. I get tired of hearing about how good we were because we weren't good enough. We just weren't good enough. If we were good enough, we'd have won. If we're good enough, we'd have taken 3 points away. Right now in a relegation battle, all there is 3 points. And if we finish with 0 coming out of a match, we finish with none, it's not good enough. So I feel worse about this team than I did after. It's the worst I felt in a long time, because I feel as though this was one that we gave away. I don't care if we could have won. I think it was Bum Phillips used to say, whatever could have happened did. So it doesn't matter what could have happened. What happened is what happened. And it's extremely frustrating to me that a player like Antonio, and I'll call him out here a little bit, who's been so good for us and put so much effort out for us, was so bad when it mattered. When it mattered, he was so bad on Saturday. And this is the thing that I come back to over and over and over again. You have this concept in sports, and I think we talk about this a lot in American sports. I'm not sure if it comes up as much in the UK and Europe, but you have this concept of being clutch. There are guys who are clutch and guys who are not clutch. There are guys who, if you are a basketball team, there's a guy you want to take the last shot, because he's going to hit that last shot under pressure. If you're a football team, there are quarterbacks you want behind center because you know that they're going to march you down the field for a touchdown. And there are other guys who are great in the regular season, but they choke in the playoffs. There are other guys who are great for 3/4 of a basketball game, but they can't score in the fourth quarter. We're not clutch. We're not clutch. Fabianski wasn't clutch against Liverpool. Antonio and Allaire weren't clutch against Arsenal. You can't survive by missing opportunity after opportunity after opportunity like that. And every week it's somebody. Every week it's something who lets us down. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't. I like Bowen. I thought the other thing, Danny, and tell me what you think about this. I thought our substitutes came on way, way too late. I mean, Mark Noble should have been off after, 65 minutes at the most. I thought they came on way too late. What did you think about that? What did you think about Moyes? Generally, the tactics seem fine, right? Pretty much with the 4-4-2, what we've been doing, unchanged starting 11, which seemed reasonable. What did you think about his subs? I thought he waited too long again, which he usually does.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, it's good to see Souček come back on, but a little bit sooner for me. Definitely agree with you on Noble going off early. I was a little pissed off with the fact that we're losing 1-0 and he took Bowen off and he brought on Snodgrass.
Yeah, I agree.
Lose the game 2-0 at that stage. Go for it. You have to.
Go for it.
So I would maybe have I would even probably have brought Cresswell off at that stage and shifted Ogbonna a little bit left, Diop, and Rice and Souček, and maybe play Snodgrass for now as Bowen and move Antonio a little higher up with Haller. But yeah, you can't do that. I mean, that's a terrible substitution that he's done there. On the topic of what you said with the Antonio and Haller, I'm not sure that you saw. I'm sure you did. When Antonio tried to square that ball, it was his mistake. It was a terrible pass.
Yeah.
And he got so pissed off with Haller for Haller's run. And I don't know what Haller did wrong there. It's a terrible decision. The power that Antonio has in his foot. Take the goalkeeper through the net with you, with the ball. I
saw a lot of debate on Twitter about whether it was a bad pass or whether Allaire should have stopped his run short so that he could have basically tapped it in. He sort of kept going to the goal, and Antonio seemed to think that he would stop short, but he put that pass like 6 yards behind Allaire. I mean, that was a bad pass under any circumstances. There was absolutely no way he was getting to that ball, whether he stopped or not, because where he put
didn't put his head up.
Right, he put it in absolute
replay. Antonio's head's down the entire time.
Right, he never looks up. He never looks up. I didn't even know Allaire was there. He never looks up, and then I mean, that is the simplest play. That is a drill that my first graders run, where you take a defender and you have two attackers and you have one pass to the other to get around the defender. It's, we run this like every week. little 6 and 7-year-olds.
I can name 19 other teams in the league that would have scored that.
Yes. Listen, I mean, pretty much any club in professional English football from the Premier League down to League 2 would have scored that. I mean,
and that sets the tone for the game. I was in the pub with all Arsenal fans. There was me and one other West Ham fan, and probably about 50 Arsenal fans ringing their little bell and stuff. And that through, I like to say that through ball. I don't know who played it to Antonio. That through ball was delicious.
It was beautiful. Yeah, it was.
And I tapped it. I was standing next to an Arsenal fan, and I just kind of nudged him on his shoulder. I said, "Here we go." And then he nudged me back after Antonio squared that and said, "Yep, that's West Ham for you." And I just laughed.
He's right.
I just laughed.
All you can do is laugh. It's somebody every week lets us down. Somebody every week smokes, and that's what bothers me the most about this team right now. And I don't think you can coach that as a manager. I don't think there's anything you can do as a captain. That's just guys not being good enough when they're in the moment. It's just folding in the clutch, and that's all there is to it. And
what did you make of that VAR, Lee?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm sorry to say it. I thought he was onside. I did. I thought it was the right call. I'm sorry to say that, but I did.
Yeah.
And I don't blame VAR for this loss. I don't blame VAR. I hate VAR for a lot of reasons, as you know, and everybody does. But I don't. A lot of people on social media were kind of pointing to that goal after the match. I thought it was onside. I thought it was fine.
Did you watch the Man City Man United game?
No, I didn't. I was out with the boys all day, and I just saw the score. That's all I saw. So
there was a goal today for Aguero that was disallowed, very similar to the Arsenal goal. And the commentator said, "Oh, he's onside. That should be a goal." And of course, it was disallowed. But I guess when you're down at the bottom, it's just shitting in your cereal, isn't it? It's rough.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest problem I have with VAR in general is that you can't celebrate a goal anymore,
No.
Because you don't know, is it going to stand? Is there going to be a review? I feel as though every goal gets reviewed. So it's taken a lot of the drama and fun out of hockey for me, because you have the same thing going in the NHL where they review every goal. Even in college hockey, when you go to the games, you have a goal, everybody's in the building celebrates, and you got to sit there for 10 minutes while somebody looks at it on the screen. And football to me was kind of the last bastion of being able to celebrate when you score a goal. And let's be honest, I mean, we all love the game for different reasons. There are not a lot of goals in football generally. 3-4 goals, kind of a lot. So if your side scores 1 or 2, those are your chances to really celebrate during a match. And I feel as though with those gone, it's just more tedious watching the game than it used to be. The other problem I have is I feel as though VAR is not always, and I don't think there was a problem on Saturday again, but I feel as though VAR is not always accurate because, I mean, you have this image of two players standing next to each other with kind of a line, running between them. But I don't know that is always the specific moment when the ball was actually played in. Do you know what I mean? Yep. You're talking about a split second. You're talking about extreme precision to stop that camera on a dime at the moment that a foot strikes the ball, and guys are moving forward. Do you know what I mean? So, the forward is moving forward. The defender is maybe, chasing him or tracking back, but you have to be. I mean, you have to be within like a thousandth of a second to to make sure that you're hitting the time when the foot strikes the ball. I just don't know that it always comes out that way. You see that
I
if you see
think
the line go through. I just don't think it's accurate.
I think a celebration comes with adrenaline. And when Lacazette scored, he put his jersey in his mouth as if to say, "Oh shit, I'm offside." Well,
Right.
it's like almost like a fake act of a celebration when 3 minutes later you find out it's a goal and you're all just jumping there looking silly, like, yeah, celebrate. But it takes away the adrenaline from the fans as well, the rush that a fan gets when a ball goes in a net. There's nothing like that.
There's nothing like that.
It's
Yep.
And you've got to be consistent with it. Like I said, that Aguero one today, that's no different from the Arsenal one. So they've got to be consistent, and
They've been
it's not giving
inconsistent.
the referees and the linesmen any confidence at all when
I
it's
agree.
just being overruled by a computer system.
Yeah, if you have to have VAR, and I'm not convinced that we do, but if we have to have it, I actually kind of like the system better, where the match official, the match referee, just goes over and watches, like on a screen next to the pitch. They do it that way in Mexico. I think they do it that way in MLS. I never watch MLS, but and yes, it takes a little bit longer, but at least the person in charge of the match is deciding what's going on in the match. It's not somebody sitting in an office somewhere.
Yeah.
Um,
Gives the
but
ref confidence too.
but do what? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
It gives the ref. The referee keeps his confidence. Then
It says
it's
to the
up to
ref,
him to say I made a mistake and not the other people.
right? It says to the ref, "You're in charge. You're in charge. You go figure it out. You go do it. You're in charge." And because he's not in charge when you send it off to somebody else, even the way they do it in rugby with the third match official, where they have the ref sort of communicating, saying like, "I want to check on this. Can you tell me what's going on?" And they're talking to each other, and you can hear them. That's the best part about rugby is you hear what they're saying to each other.
Yeah, we
And you
don't
hear
know that.
the explanation. Yeah, you hear the guy in the booth say, "Okay, well, he managed to get the ball down, so it's a try." I mean, why can't we do that in football? Why does everything have to be so secretive and undercover and like cloak and dagger and stuff? But the biggest problem, as you said, with VAR is that you get these weird delayed celebrations. I mean, I know I've told the story before, but I went to a college hockey game earlier this season, and it was a tournament game and a small tournament. And the home team we were cheering for scored in overtime to win. And everybody celebrated, and the team celebrated. They jumped all over each other. And then the official said, "Actually, no, wait a minute." And they reviewed the goal, for like 3 or 4 minutes, a long time. And then they gave the goal, they confirmed the goal. But then we all sort of stood there like,
Yeah.
like, what do you do? It's not exciting anymore. We all just sort of walked out. Like, well, it's over now, So yeah, it sucks the drama out of it, but I get frustrated. I'm frustrated by us right now because, again, I think people look at, and tell me what you think of this, Danny, but this has got to be the worst Arsenal team for, I don't know, maybe 30 years, maybe more. I mean, I don't know the last time they were this bad. Again, eight wins going into the game against us, 8 wins all season. I think they were 10th. Not really in serious contention for Europe, and definitely not in contention for Champions League. You look at the name Arsenal, you see that we're going to the Emirates, and you think, oh, this is going to be a tough match because it's Arsenal, because they are constantly in the top four, because they are a huge club, etc. But they're not right now. They're not anything special. And this game we have next weekend is a tougher game against a better team. This was a more winnable game than Wolves at home to me. I don't know if you agree with that.
I agree. Actually, Wolves are, they've just come off beating Tottenham away. They're a proper team. That you take into consideration how many games they've played in Europe. 2 seasons ago, they were in the Championship. I think when they came up their first season, they were like the 6th favourites to win the Premiership because of what they've done under that manager. That manager's a really good manager. They've managed to keep their players. They've got the confidence, and they're a really good team. On the lines of the Arsenal team, we had every opportunity with our lineup to beat them. We had an 18-year-old at left back. We had a centre back at right back. We had a centre back that hasn't played all season. We had a Nketiah
Yes.
up front instead of Lacazette.
Right.
We have Xhaka, who is booed off by the Arsenal fans in midfield. Ceballos, who hasn't played all season. That's 6 or 7 players there. And I said in the chat last week, that's it. Arsenal is Aubameyang. It's
Right.
quite simple, really. I mean, you should have had Bowen and Antonio maybe switching wings. If
Right.
Antonio's not going to run at Socrates, give Bowen a run at Socrates. They're not. That Saka guy's fast, but he reminds me of an Njaki.
Right.
He got some problems, but he's young, and he was there for the taking, like most of their defense were. And David Luiz isn't a good defender,
No,
but
he's
I think
terrible. We
we were
saw that in the
just
World Cup
hesitant.
3 years ago, 4 years, 2 years ago,
I
whenever.
think we were just scared of the name. The name Arsenal just put fear into them, and it shouldn't have.
And it
Southampton, to me, played better than Arsenal did against us, and we beat Southampton. I think it's the on the road mentality, and I think we should have won that game. And that's why I said to you at the beginning, Lee, I think we played well, but it, like you said, it's not good enough. It's really not.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me how well we play, as long as we come out with 3 points. I'm starting to really come to see the world, I think, the way Sam Allardyce saw the world, which is just, get your draw away from home, get your 3 points at home, but get points. Get points. Performances mean nothing when we're sitting in the relegation zone at the end of the season. We're not going to care that we can look back and say, we played really well at the Emirates. It doesn't matter. You got to get points.
Didn't get the points at the Emirates.
And I do think that I do think that this was, if you look at what we have coming up, because we still have to go, we have Chelsea at home, we have to go to Tottenham. We've got Wolves this weekend. We've got another Manchester United game coming up, and they're starting to come back into form. I mean, this was actually one of the most winnable games left on our fixture list until you get to like April, And I don't think anybody saw it that way because they saw Arsenal, they saw that it was away, and I don't know if the players have this problem. If Moyes' tactics were fine, except he didn't make the substitutions too late. But I feel as though they go into this thinking like, we're not going to win this. Let's just try to hang in there. Let's just try to keep. There's no reason not to win that game. Again, nothing special about them at all. And as you said, they were there for the taking. They were like Chelsea when we went into Stamford Bridge. They were there for the taking, and we didn't, and we bottled it basically.
I think Noble is playing too much now. He's getting older. Rice is doing most of the work in the midfield. I think that's why his valuation is so high.
I do too. I think he's a great player.
I think we dropped Noble.
No question.
Next game.
And I said before the Arsenal match, when Souček, we didn't think Souček would be available last week. And I said, well, it's maybe good to have Noble in for this match because he loves the London Derby. He's a passionate captain in games like this. No, he's tired, man. He's tired. He's been tired all season. I think if you got him in a quiet room and you asked him candidly, he'd tell you he needs a rest. He did say that again. Remember, he said that after.
You can't rely on me as the sub, yeah.
Right. I mean, weeks ago, he said, "I can't believe I'm out there relying on me in this FA Cup match, that we lost." So yeah, I think it's got to be Souček. I think it has to be. I think it's got to be, But again, we go into another spell of matches here where 1 point out of the next 3 is going to be really good. We just have to hope
I think the best thing for us, Lee, right now is that we got that win against Southampton. So we got out of the relegation zone. And there's teams that are below us now. And there's a reason why they're down there as well. They've not been winning.
Yeah, it's true. And they all lost too.
So yeah. I think, Tottenham are not Tottenham anymore. They've not got Son playing. They've not got Kane playing. They don't have a striker. I think we can have a go at Tottenham. It's a London derby. We usually show up away from home against them.
I agree.
I think Wolves is going to be a high-scoring game. Chelsea are up and down. I don't feel as though we're down yet. I think we're close. But the positive in this situation is the other teams below us need the points more than we need the points. And
Yeah.
anything we can get now is a plus because the running is hard. And honestly, I think it comes down to last game of the season against Aston Villa.
It might.
I think Watford and Norwich are going to go down. Even though Watford beat Liverpool, I think Watford and Norwich are going to go down.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to West Ham versus Villa. I don't know who Bournemouth play on the last game of the season, but it's one of us three just going with Watford and Norwich, I think.
I agree with you on Norwich. I think they are as good as down. I know they've had a couple of surprising results in that they've advanced in the FA Cup, and that's great that they beat Tottenham. Obviously we love that. But I mean, if you look at yesterday's games, it really shows you why the club's battling for relegation. I mean, Watford lose to Palace 1-0, Norwich lose to Sheffield United 1-0, and Brighton have pulled themselves out, a little bit. Bournemouth, I believe had the lead against Liverpool, if I'm not mistaken. They ended up losing, I think that game was over by halftime, but they ended up losing it from a winning position. So everybody else around us is screwing up too. And if you look at the table, we are where we were last week, basically, pretty much exactly where we were last week. So we didn't
one less game to go.
Right, exactly, with one less game to go. So no, you're right. I think it's possible that we'll have a situation this season like we did in 2010 in Zola's last season, when basically there were just three teams worse than we were.
Yeah.
And we set up that season on 35 points. And I could see that happening, something like that happening again this season, where we fail to reach 40, but we stay up only because there are three below us who can't get there either. We just need Villa to lose too right now. I think they play Leicester tomorrow. They play away to Leicester tomorrow. And then we need
Leicester have been shocking lately, haven't they?
They've been terrible. Yeah, that's the thing. They've been terrible.
Good. We need them to show up. We really do.
We need him to show up, and I don't remember who. I think Villa's other match is against another relatively big club, but everybody's so weird right now. Like Chelsea won 4-0 today. Manchester City.
Everton's been playing great. Yeah.
So you know what you're going to get. All right, so I'm at this point. I'm about halfway done with the show, and I have noticed we have a special guest, all the way from City of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Hey.
King of Prussia. It's the King of Prussia himself.
More like
it's Wally. It's Wally. How you doing, Wally?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Danny, as much as I've enjoyed talking to you, and I have, do you mind if we bring Wally in, have him chat with us a little bit?
As long as you keep me company still.
Yeah. Yeah, you're still here.
Don't worry. We're not dropping you. No. That's not what we're doing at all. We want more people.
Well, then let's welcome Wally.
Yeah.
Wally.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Dan.
So tell us, Wally. I already went on my rant about how we choked against Arsenal and how frustrating it is for me, and how I hate that we keep not coming through in these clutch situations. And you know what, Wally? I would have been able to make fun of you about this until 2 years ago, because I think you're an Eagles fan. So
I am too.
You understood that until 2017 or whatever it was they finally broke through. What's your take on what happened on Saturday and where it leads us?
Well, first of all, I'm originally from Detroit, so
even worse.
Even worse. My Detroit Lions have not even sniffed the playoffs even lately. So I totally sympathize with the West Ham situation.
Did not know you were a Lions fan, but I am sorry for that, because that's even last playoff win, 1991 over the Cowboys. I was in high school.
Oh wow,
Lee, can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him. Can you hear him?
I can see his mouth moving, but I can't hear anything. And you're not in your head, so it's weird. You can hear him and I can't. I don't hear anything. I just see his mouth moving.
Do you want to drop me and bring me back in, maybe, or
nothing?
All right. I'll try it. Let me see how it goes. All right. Give us this brief moment of technical. What am I trying to say?
I couldn't hear anything now. I don't know. I can hear you still.
You can hear me.
Hear him.
That's wait a minute. No, hang on. Now it's like wrestling. It's like WWE now. You got okay. Here's Wally back again.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear him?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Oh, good. Oh, good. All right.
All right. And is this Joss's music? Here's Joss from Kansas City.
What's up?
Hey, all right.
He's going to come in and smack Wally over the head with a chair. This is old
Nice.
school Mid-South wrestling is what we're going to do here. We're going to do
All right.
Jerry Lawler Mid-South wrestling, or maybe the Von Erichs in Texas. We're going to come in and smack the great Kabuki over the head with a chair. So, Joss, how you doing?
All right, how are you guys?
Yeah, we're okay. We're okay.
It's good to
All
hear.
right. You all?
That's good to hear.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So, Wally, you were telling us about being a Detroit fan, but also you were going to give us your take on Saturday. So go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to pick everything up there.
Well, I tend to agree with you. It was one we should have taken. I mean, from the chance that Antonio, passed behind Allaire, we should have had that. We should have had Antonio had another chance as well. So we could have been up, 2-0, and the VAR goal. I mean, I guess like last year that wouldn't have been a goal. So.
Yeah.
So,
But I did think it was good, though, Wally. I mean, I'm sorry to say that I thought it was a legit goal. I mean, what did you think? Did you think it was a bad call?
I think he was probably onside from the way they were drawing those lines, if we trust those lines. But it was initially called offside by the lines person. So
I know.
last year that wouldn't have been a goal. So
No, it wouldn't have. And another one gets flipped, right? Another one gets flipped against us.
Yep.
Just like against Brighton, when Murray's goal that way.
Yeah.
Flipped back to being a goal. So,
yeah.
but a lot of people were taking positives out of this game. A lot of people were taking positives out of this game. I took mostly negatives because that's kind of where I am right now. I mean, what did you take out of it?
I felt pretty positive about it because I was at Stowe's and Katie was there, and we had our brand new flag, West Ham Philly flag. So I actually had a really good time. and
That's good.
When we're at Stowe's, it's like you're just talking, and the game's kind of going on up there. We pay attention, but we also have a good time talking with everybody. So, as I told my family when I got home, I said, my wife said, "How did it go?" And I said, "Well, we had fun." And so
that's kind of all you can hope for, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to have fun go to the pub regardless of the result, because that's kind of where we are.
Yeah.
Joss, are you typing by any chance?
No,
No, that's not you.
no.
there is some
Okay.
weird.
There's some weird clicky stuff going on, and I don't know what it is. I don't think it's coming from here.
Very static. I can hear a lot of I don't know what's going on there.
Seems to have gotten better now.
Wait,
I'm
it's
not sure why.
Nope.
Now it comes back. Well, you know what? We're going to do the best we can. I can't do much about it at the moment. And my comment thing is freezing too, so I was putting Gabe's comment up, but it doesn't show on my screen. Anyway, Joss, what about you? What did you take from Saturday? Are you positive? Are you feeling good about us staying up, going into Wolves, or are you feeling like me, it's actually gotten worse?
Saturday, so my suite mate in university is actually an Arsenal fan. So we got up and we watched the game. And for the first 45 minutes, he was commenting on how good we looked, right? And from Bowen's shot in the third minute, I felt, okay, this is what we're here to do. We're taking the game to Arsenal.
Yeah.
So it was already better to see. It was going to be the same mindset that we had at Anfield.
Yeah.
I just think that, again, finishing, if we had Javier Hernandez, he might have finished those Antonio chances, I think. He might have.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And
right.
That 2-yard corner he missed.
That pass back from Antonio to Allaire. I mean, okay, we were talking about this earlier. Before we all came on. Whose fault was that? Is it Antonio's fault for a wretched pass? Is it Allaire's fault for continuing his run when maybe he should have stopped behind the defender? What did you think?
I think it's a combination of both. I think Antonio looked up and saw Haller standing where he passed the ball, and then looked down again. He didn't really lift his head up that entire run ever since Fornals passed him the ball, So I think, and then it was Haller moving after seeing that after recognizing that, and that was sort of the problem as well. I think was Haller moving and Antonio not getting his head up and everything. So I think that it was a combination of the two of them more than just one or the other. And again, if they had played together all season, it might have been a different story.
Yeah,
They might have been able to recognize their run.
Yeah. I tend to agree. I thought there was a lack of communication. I would say, I mean, honestly, I thought it was probably about 75% Antonio's fault, especially these days. And I think Ellie said the same thing earlier. I mean, okay, maybe Haller should have pulled up his run, but honestly, you just got to do better than that. You just got to do better than that. Josh, I think it's you making the noise for whatever reason. So
Yeah, that's his mic, I think.
if you're not, when you're not talking, do you mind muting so we don't hear it quite as much? Thank you. Well, no, it's still doing it, isn't it? It's still doing it. It's not. I don't think it's me. Is it me? It's never been me, but maybe it's me.
I don't know. It's doing it when you talk. Is it doing it when I talk? Now I don't hear anyone again.
I think it's Lee because
I think it is.
yeah, it's you
I
because
think
you
it's
just
me, yeah.
muted.
What could it be? I've
We
never.
were fine when it was just us. It wasn't static at all.
I've never. Yeah, we were doing great. So I don't know. I've never had this problem on my old laptop before. Tim said it was Josh, but it's not.
Come on, Tim. You know
It's not. It's me. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll mute myself after we go into this next topic. Yeah. So what's coming up on? Yeah. This is what it is. This is what it is. It's the hair and the beard. It's finally gotten to be too much. It's overwhelmed the my little laptop here. I see Darren from Bangkok on too. So let me go around then. Wolves on Sunday. Do you line up do you use the same formation? Do you line up the same way? Do you do anything differently because we're at home? I think we're actually facing a much better team than Arsenal. How do you guys match up against him? Danny, why don't you start, and then we can do Waller and then Josh, and I'll. Did you hear me, Danny? Did you hear me?
No. I was watching Just Cough. It looked like he was trying to talk. I thought you said his name. I think. Sorry, guys. I think you and I touched on it earlier, Lee. Souček for Noble. I feel sorry for Snodgrass. I don't think we changed too much, though. If Wolves play Adama Traore, Cresswell's going to get skinned, but Masuaku can't defend either way, so I don't think we're going to have much luck there.
Oh wow!
Line up the same. I don't think we changed too much around. Maybe Souček for me.
Yeah,
That makes sense. Wally, what do you think?
yeah, I agree. Souček for Noble, and then if Fredericks is back, I think we should put him in.
Oh, you just no, you're just trolling now. No, I know you're just trolling now.
But no, yeah, I agree. Souček for no, and I would, you know what? I felt like we were lacking in the crosses, and I don't know if we can shoehorn Snoddy in there somehow, but I guess we would have to take off like Bowen, or Fornals. Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe bring him on sooner or something, but I felt like our crosses could have been a lot better. And but
we had
that's
Noble
pretty.
taking set pieces, didn't we? We had Noble,
Yeah.
and then we had that.
Noble was taken.
good
Yeah,
free kick position that Cresswell took, and it's
Right.
not left-footed.
yeah,
We don't have anyone really on set pieces, do we?
yeah. So I don't know how to shoehorn him in, but I would love to see him in there somehow. but who do we take out? I mean, maybe Haller he didn't look so lively in this game as he did the previous one. So I don't know.
I think that's a good point, Wally. I thought Allaire went largely back to his old ways.
Yeah.
He had the great game against Southampton. He had a great goal
Yeah.
where he really finished well. He really followed up. He didn't give up, but I thought his effort was poor. Actually,
Leaves muted again. I can't hear anything.
he once again looked like the player who can't wait to go down and have us go down, and so he can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Joss, I hate to talk to you with your mouth full.
I'm good.
What do you think for Sunday? You agree with these guys?
Yeah, Suchek in for Noble again. Wolves, they play that 3-back system with Doherty and Johnny Otto, or maybe Adama as their right wing back sort of. So I feel like we have to play a 3-man midfield to at least outnumber them, at least outnumber Neves and Moutinho. It'll be interesting to see how Cresswell and Ngakia do up against a Doherty and Adama and a Johnny Otto and a Diego Jota. I feel like that'll be interesting to watch. I'm not super confident, but because it's Wolves and we can't even score against Wolves, so I'm not super confident. But I feel like that we could maybe nab something. I feel like if you're playing Antonio and Haller and Bowen will be able to help Ngakia at least. And then I feel like Antonio and Haller will be able to do some damage against Willy Boley, Connor Cody, and Den Donker. So, who we were actually in for. Remember when we were in for Den Donker a couple years ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were. That's right. We were. Yep.
So,
right.
it'll be an interesting watch because I know Den Donker, he likes to step into the midfield for Wolves as well. Or maybe it's Roman Saiz, he likes to step into the midfield for Wolves. So, maybe we can exploit that. Get Antonio and Haller a little 2v2 on a quick counterattack because that seems to be how we're playing now, which I don't hate. I like our counterattack. I feel like that we have a good counterattacking side. So, and at home, bigger field than Molyneux. We'll have a lot of space in behind. So it'll be an interesting tactical watch, I think.
Yeah, and I mean,
I don't know what's going on here.
I don't either. I'm just trying to power through it because I'm honestly not sure what's going on with our sound. But so should we? Do you think Bowen should be further sort of up in the attack? I mean, do we still like Antonio being the partner for Allaire up front after what we saw on Saturday? Or would you rather see Bowen more in that role and have Antonio play more of a true role as a winger? I don't know. Wally, why don't you start?
I think Antonio does a lot of damage up front. Just powering up there with Allaire, and so I do like that partnership. I just hope Nolan lights a fire under Allaire again for next week. But and I also like Bowen, so I kind of think we should stay the way we are, but maybe have Snodgrass in there instead of I guess Fornals, but yeah. No?
I don't know. What do Josh, you have an opinion? What do you think?
No, we can't drop Fornals. Fornals has been arguably our best player in the month of last end of February, early start of March. We haven't had a player like him. We have Lanzini, but he hasn't been up to the quality that we expect. And I think that Pablo Fornals has been up to that quality that we expected from Lanzini at the start of the season and last season when he came back from injury. That ball he played to Antonio before Antonio and Haller got their signals crossed was phenomenal. One time, right out of the defender's reach, it was crazy, such a good ball. So I think that Fornals, along with his work rate, will allow us to play the sort of way that we want to play, especially in the counterattacking, and especially in the counterattacking that we seem to want to play. He's got that quick release. He's able to find space in between the midfield and defense and pick a pass, and I think that's what we need, especially against a Wolves side that have a strong midfield and defensive partnership. But if we put Fornals in that hole in between the midfield and defense, I feel like he'll be able to have a very interesting and strong game.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that as much as I love Snodgrass's effort and his passion and all those sort of things that are not quantifiable, I think Fornals is a better player who's been playing well lately. He put in a great ball against Southampton for one of the goals, maybe two of the goals. I don't know, my memory's fading. Then as you said, he had the ball to Antonio yesterday. So, yeah, I think it's hard for me to say that. No, the craziest thing I've read all week, and I've read it more than once, is that we should have that a Yeti should get some playing time, should get some time up front. I think that is just weird, and I'm not sure if there's anybody serious about that. Is there anybody here who agrees with that? If you do, go for it.
No, I haven't even seen him on the bench lately, so I can't imagine giving him game time straight off the bat.
I can't imagine that that's in any way
Yeah.
a serious suggestion. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just it's got to be somebody just taking the piss, right?
He's reactionary at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, reactionary. Yeah, I mean, it's I can't take that seriously at all. One thing I wanted to ask about, which is a little off the topic of West Ham, but not entirely. So they're playing games behind closed doors in Italy for a fear of coronavirus, right? Juventus played today. I don't remember who they played. It's a pretty big match, like Inter or somebody like that.
Who's Inter, yeah.
Yeah, Juventus and Inter played. Nobody in the stadium. It is not insane to think that this could happen in England. It is not insane to think this could happen in England within the next few weeks. Would you guys? I mean, I personally think if there are no fans at a game, there's no reason to play it at all. It shouldn't even happen. I realize there's TV rights, if there's scheduling issues, I get all that, but playing a game behind closed doors for me is just a workout. It doesn't mean anything. Would you guys watch on TV a game played with no fans in the ground? Would you rather have the season postponed or canceled? How would you handle it if it were up to you? Dan, what would you do?
I don't think I would miss a West Ham game if it was no one in the stadium. I will always watch them. I think it's going to take away a lot from the game. Players take a lot from fans. They feed off of reactions and atmosphere. They're not going to be able to postpone, or unless they postpone the Euros in the summer, they're not going to be able to do much in this situation. It's a footballer has just as much chance to get coronavirus as those people in the stands.
Yeah,
They're all human. So I think if people look after themselves and take the right precautions and stuff, then I don't think we need to do it. And I'm not saying anything against Italians or Italian football or anything like that. But
I understand that. Yeah,
this is the best league in the world with the best fans in the world. And there's going to be a lot of pissed off people if they can't come to games. They pay for season tickets and stuff like that. They buy tickets in advance, buy their kids' birthday tickets and stuff. And I don't think they'll do it. I think they're taking, this is a serious virus, but I think they're taking it way too far.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, again, I don't want to speak out of turn because we have it here in Middlesex County, Mass now. But it has. I mean, yes, the fatality rate from it is much higher than from the flu, but survival rate is still like 98%. You get sick for a couple of weeks and get over it. Have you seen this ridiculous thing where, the players aren't shaking hands before matches anymore? They won't give each other, and yet they're going to go out and tackle each other. They're going to sweat on each other. They're going to spit on each other. You know what I mean? It's nuts. It's bonkers. I don't know. Wally, Joss, what do you guys think? Did you watch the games?
Yeah.
Behind closed doors?
Yeah, I would definitely watch. I think I don't know anything about. I'm not a medical expert.
Right,
but,
I'm not.
If they continue, if they decide to have empty stadiums, I would still watch, and I think they can't change the schedule or anything. We're that far through the season that we need to play it out. I think even if it's behind closed doors. But at the same time, I don't think it's necessary, and maybe maybe as an incentive for people to come, they could give out like a free roll of toilet paper or something.
Okay. Well, we'll come back to that in a minute. Josh, what do you think? Are you watching if there's no fans in the ground?
Well, I watched the Juventus Inter game today, actually.
Okay, so you're good.
So I'll watch. I'll just watch anything. I was like, isn't the Derby d'Italia today? It is, and it was a little strange. I mean, obviously it's going to be strange, but it was interesting to hear because you could actually hear the players like yell and like talk to each other.
Yeah,
you don't hear that in a packed stadium because the fans are just too loud. So I'll watch any game that is just televised. I don't think because it's not like I can't go, so
Right.
I'm gonna watch because it's a team I support, and I feel like it's gonna be a little strange. It would be a little strange, but it kind of like a different way because then you'll be able to hear like the tactics being told and everything like that. So it might be kind of cool to listen to. So I would watch.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen, you guys know Sanitarium have had a lot of fan trouble in recent years, and they've had to play a pretty fair number of games, if not behind closed doors, and with very limited. They've had to close like the two ends of the ground on either end. They've had a very limited number of fans, and yeah, it is funny because you hear them yell at each other. You know what I mean? You hear them give each other instructions, and it's like going to a high school football game in a small town. You can really, it's like you're on the field, as part of the action. I think it would take so much away from it that it would be really hard for me to get into it. And I don't know if you guys are getting all these random comments. I'm trying to put comments up on the screen and they're not working, or they are working. So, Danny, didn't you tell me that there was a Scottish women's player who got coronavirus?
Yeah, yesterday in the Scotland-France rugby game for the women. Well, it was 2 days ago. The game.
Oh, it's the rugby. It was the rugby. Okay.
Yeah. One of the women got it. There was actually a fear that 10 of the players had the coronavirus. They only found out, I think, that one had it for sure. But that they were going to cancel the men's match yesterday also because of it, out of respect to the women. But obviously that went ahead. So.
Yeah, I wish they had canceled the Scotland-France match for today. That would have worked out better because I like the French rugby. But anyway, it seems like panic to me. Again, I'm not a medical professional, but it seems like panic to me, and it seems as though we're kind of living in fear. And I have a hard time, watching a game that's with nobody there. It just
I
sort
do
of,
too. I do too. I wouldn't watch another game. I wouldn't watch two. I wouldn't have watched I didn't. But even if I knew it was behind closed door, I wouldn't have watched the Juventus today. It's just not the same. If it's West Ham, then fair enough. It's a team you've watched all your life. But I wouldn't. Man City could be playing Liverpool, and there's no atmosphere. I don't care for it.
Right. Yeah, I feel the same way. Yeah, Ken says Corona doesn't bother rugby players. I believe that. I was a rugby player, not the way he was, but yeah, they don't care. They don't care about anything. They're going to drink so much after the game, it's going to kill all the virus anyway. That's how that works. That's how that goes. Yeah, so I can't really run this one too late tonight, but I might as well get everybody's take on what we think is going to happen on Sunday. Let me ask a couple of things. First of all, how many people do you think will turn up for the protest? Since I think Hammers United are planning protests for all the home games the rest of the season, do you think the protests will stay? The people will show up in the numbers they have in the past. And then I know we're a week away, and it's almost impossible to make this prediction, but give me a score if you would. Danny, why don't we start with you again?
I think the protests are going to be the same, like you said, for the rest of the season. I think they've got to make a point for the owners now. I don't think it's going to stop. I don't necessarily think there's going to be more people, but I don't think that the protesters are going to fade away. So I think we're just going to stay where we are as far as that. I think the game on Saturday is going to be high scoring, and I don't think anyone else would predict it, but I'm going to go with 3-3 draw.
Interesting. Yeah, Ken is saying 1-0 West Ham in the comments, and for some reason, I can't get the comments to pop up on the screen and go away. I don't know if you're seeing them or not, so I'm just going to tell you what people say instead of trying to pop them up myself. Katie says, Katie says if we don't beat Wolves, she'll cry. That makes me really sad.
Yeah, that would be sad because we'll be at Stowe's next Sunday.
I know, she'll be right there in Stowe's. She'll have a breakdown right there in Stowe's.
I'll bring some handkerchiefs, but you know what? I'm very confident that we're going to win. So, I think
go ahead.
I think what happened, Arsenal was not one that Moyes had circled to win, but I think Wolves at home is one that Moyes circled to win. So I'm fairly confident, just like I was very confident we were going to win at Southampton. I was not worried at all. and we took care of business. So I think we're going to win maybe 2-1, and so Katie will not be upset.
Yeah, but you guys realize, of course, that Wolves are better than Arsenal, right? That they're higher in the table, that they have better players, they have a better manager. Like everything about them is better than Arsenal.
Yeah, but they will have played on Thursday, and so they're going to be, and they play the same squad pretty much the full time. So I think they're going to be tired. I don't know that they're going to be too fired up about this.
When do we play, Sunday or Saturday? If they play on Thursday.
Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday morning.
All right. Well, I didn't know they played Thursday, so I'm going to change my score prediction to 3-1 West Ham.
Yeah.
Well, Foshizi has us 2-1 to West Ham. Joss, what do you have for us?
I have a friend, very close friend, who's a Wolves fan. So
You're kidding? How? Wait, I'm sorry.
Very close friend, 5-0 West Ham. He Wolves had a training thing over here, and he from a young age he was selected to come and like be in this Wolves academy in America.
Oh, I know all about that. Yes.
So yeah, there's like a picture of him. He's like little. He's got a Wolves kit on. He likes to talk a lot of trash, especially about Adama Traore. And I tell him that Ruben Neves is just a worse Declan Rice, and he doesn't believe me. So we have a lot of competition right now, and it pains me every time we play them because we can't even score on them.
Well, you listen. Tell him this. When Tim was running. By the way, so we got more predictions. We got Tim says 2-2. Neil says 2-1. Neil in Australia says 2-1. When Tim was running the club we had in Lowell, the semi-pro club we had in Lowell, we were supposed to run a camp for Wolves too. Now we didn't choose Wolves. All right, the organization that puts these clubs together with American clubs gave us Wolves. Right, they just said you get Wolves, so we didn't have any say in it. And we were supposed to run a camp for Wolves, like an ID camp where you bring in young players, and you know how many people signed up? You know, we put it out there, we advertised, how many people signed up?
How many?
0 people. No people signed up.
No one likes Wolves.
Yeah, well, they were in the championship back then, to be fair, but even so. So, what do you think about the protest, Josh? You think we're going to see the same level of protest Sunday that we've seen the last few weeks?
I think so. I feel like there's still some underlying anger. It's not as prominent anymore, but it's still there. It's still bubbling just below the surface, I think. So I think that we'll still see a good turnout for the protests.
Yeah, I do too. I think we should. And they've been handled so well so far. I think they've been effective. They've gotten positive media attention. They've been well organized. They've been well disciplined, and I think it's been a good thing for the club actually. So Darren in Thailand says 2-1 to us. Tim says 2-2 because he's not allowed to predict us to win anymore. I am never allowed to predict us to win again, so I will say what I always say. We will lose 4-3 on a goal in the 7th minute of injury time. That will be overturned. Again, it'll be like Arsenal. It'll be a goal that is not allowed, but overturned by VAR. And that's how I see it going down. So if I pick us to win, we absolutely will lose. So, anyway, I don't know that there's much. I don't know that there's much else to talk about. Unless you guys had something else on your minds, it's been a little screwy tonight. I apologize for that.
No, I think you don't need to worry. It's in the cards. We're winning this one.
I mean,
I'm not worried.
We need it. I'm glad you're not worried. I'm always worried. So quick things. First of all, Tim says Danny, he's found 3 supporters in the Raleigh-Durham area today. Did a roll call on social media. We also found a guy who lives in Haverhill, Mass, which is very close, about 20 minutes from where Tim and I live. So we're going to hook up with him at some point. Ken, you should know about him too, because he's close to you too. And Tim's going to be on tomorrow night. Tim is still on. Let me know about 8 or 9 o'clock. I don't know which one. Tim's going to be on tomorrow night with 2 new fans, one from Vermont and I think one from Virginia. So you guys, take a look at that when you get a chance. And with that, I want to thank everybody for being on, everybody in the chat room. Katie, Wally, Gabe was here. Always good to see Gabe. Sorry, Wally's here. You just popped up in the chat room.
I'm all over. I'm multitasking.
You were everywhere. Darren was here. Coach Kim was here. Everybody was here. Coach Easy, all our friends. It's good to see all of you. Yeah, and honestly, I'm really flattered, and this clicking thing won't go away. And I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all being on the show tonight. But I am signing off.
All right.
So thanks, everybody. And until tomorrow night, come on, you Irish.
All right, Irish.